Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to the UCF Dynasty. Today, we conclude the regular season here in season number 6. I am excited to get into the Big 12 tournament as we are battling here for a seed, a good seed. Last year in the NCAA tournament, a lot of Big 12 teams made it. I believe it was 7 or 8 total. So we want to stay in that mix. We don't want to slide here. We are doing, we're off to a bad start, to be honest with you, in Big 12 play. But I think we can bounce back here in this episode with a nice couple of big wins. So far this season, we have been led by the freshman Moses Miller and Russell Rhodes, as we look to kind of build off of, kind of this momentum we have, this chemistry we have with the freshmen. We win the first game of this episode versus Baylor, and we go on to this West Virginia matchup. Now, early on, we were up by 10 points, but all of a sudden in the second half, West Virginia stays with us. We go up by 8, even 6 with about 2 minutes left, and then it goes into overtime, and West Virginia ends up taking it. Russell Rhodes had 22, but these are the games we have to finish. Even in game cast situations, we got to win those games, because we are going to be in trouble if we cannot, come through with these sim victories. I'm not going to play every single game, but I do want to get some of these victories here, as we do not play, like I said, every one. I think this UCF team is growing, though. We do hit spurts when we play that we don't score. I mean, we just absolutely go cold. And we can't do that this game versus Oklahoma State. They are the number 16 team in the country, 19-3 overall. They could end up being one of the top seeds in the NCAA tournament when it does start. Now, looking at who they have, Jamal Ivey leads them in scoring with 18.7 points per game. And we have our work cut out today. I think this is going to be one of the tougher matchups of the season, because they have leaders all over the floor, and we will see if we can come through with the big time victory, as we are at home today. We'll see if our combination of Austin Ball and Moses Miller starts to work out, because so far I've been kind of disappointed with Austin Ball. He hasn't been leading us in rebounding, and he is 7'4". We will see what he can do today. So here we go. Ending Big 12 conference play today in this episode. We'll see if we can get a big-time win, probably the biggest win of the season. But we fall asleep right away and give up an easy 2 to start out this game. 2-0 start now. Here's a pass to the outside. Russell Rhodes, the freshman lefty, hits it from the corner. He gets UCF's offense going. And now it is 3-2. Here's a pass to the top of the key. That is going to be good. A deep 2 that time, and Oklahoma State with a couple of 2 straight buckets there from the outside. Here's a pass once again to the perimeter. It's going to be Jones. Justin Jones is a good shooter. Much like what we saw last year from Justin Credible, though, he is extremely streaky. Here's a save, but a drive inside and an acrobatic layup probably made that more difficult than it had to be. UCF and Oklahoma State have traded buckets so far, but there's a tough take by Russell Rhodes. Maybe should have been a foul on that one. 8-6 lead early on for UCF. Oklahoma State with possession now. About 8 minutes left here in the first half. Here is going to be a deep 3, and that one is off. But an offensive board by Oklahoma State and a foul on Justin Jones. Dunlap goes to the free throw line. He hits 1 of 2. How did he get that rebound over 2 UCF players? Here on the next possession, though, UCF gets called for the offensive foul. That's Moses Miller. You don't see that quite often. Here's a shot from the outside, and that is going to be good. And Oklahoma State takes the early 2-point lead here, 10-8. Here's a 3 from the corner. This is going to be Russell Rhodes who knocks it down. His second 3 of the game so far. We haven't missed a shot so far this game. Here's a 3 from the outside over Rhodes. That's good. Back and forth early on. Here's Sam Hayes now behind the back pass to the outside. Miller inside the ball. Ball puts it up, and he does draw a foul as well. That's Matthew Moncrief, who does lead their team in, I think he's second in scoring, first in rebounding. As Austin Ball goes to the free throw line, he hits 1 of 2. It's a 13-12 game. Oklahoma State really, have been hitting every shot so far this game, it seems like. UCF is going to have to play their best game today. One thing about this young team in comparison to last year is that I think that the reason why P.J. Sutton was so good last year is because we had some veterans who could kind of take away the pressure from P.J. Sutton. And I think we just don't have that this year. Austin Ball stepped into a big role as center, but I think, the task is kind of big, assuming that this is only his second year as a starter. Here's a drive from Oklahoma State. That's a tough drive that time in traffic. 19-16 game here for Oklahoma State. Here is Miller on the inside. Hopefully doesn't get called for a foul this time, but a little baby hook, and he can't get that one to go. 4.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Here's a missed shot. Here's a rebound by Rhodes, who has been the hottest player so far for us. He's just going to take this one from 3, and it's going to be good. Russell Rhodes is such a great shooter from the outside. His stroke is just so beautiful, and coming from a lefty, it looks even more amazing. But we got to come up with some defensive stops without fouling. It's a 21-19 game now. Here is Oklahoma State on the outside, passing inside, and that one's going to be a clean block. Here's a save by Oklahoma State, and a fadeaway. Dunlap hits an unreal 3 and puts Oklahoma State up 24-19. Here's a shot. Getting to the lane is Rhodes. He gets blocked on that one. A couple of nice possessions here on defense by Oklahoma State. Here's a drive and no foul called. And Rhodes comes up short once again. Here's a defensive board now. Here we go in transition. Here is Lewis off the bench, and Justin Lewis with some contact can't get it to go, and gets his own board and can't get that one either. So UCF with a couple of empty possessions. Here's a tough drive. That's a missed shot. That's a block that time by Kolchak. Here we go. A 2-on-1 situation, but Oklahoma State gets back fast. But a good find. Sam Hayes with the layup. 24-21. Just over a minute to go here in the first half. Here's a pass inside. That one's deflected. Here's a baby hook. That's good. Smith will hit the hook shot, and now 28-21. Nice answer that time by Kolchak, but under a minute to go. We'll see if we can come up with a stop here. As UCF trying to get 2 for 1 out of this game clock right here. If we come up with a stop early, doesn't look like that's going to happen though. As here we are at the end of the first half. UCF looking to at least put this within 1 possession. There is a nice shot inside. That's good. And we will go into halftime down by 5 as UCF trying to go toe-to-toe with Oklahoma State. It seems like we might have to be perfect on every possession. So here in the first half, we shot 53% to their 52%. We'll see if our second half can be much better than the first. 4 turnovers for UCF as well, 8 assists. And we missed the opening shot to open the second half. But here is Oklahoma State, their first possession. Here's a pass inside to Dunlap, who has been killing us so far today. This is their biggest lead of the game. It's 7. Here working around the perimeter. Here's a pass to the post. This is Austin Ball, who goes up strong with it. At 7'4", I expect him to kind of throw that down. Instead, he goes up very soft. Here is Justin Jones, though, getting ripped on the outside. Here goes Dunlap the other way after the steal. We hold up the fast break. Here is a lob inside. And that's a good defensive possession right there. One of the stops we needed in the first half. Here is Rhodes now passing to the post. This is Austin Ball with a smaller guy on him. He fakes the shot. It goes back up with it, and it rolls off of the rim. Here is Ball now on the inside, and he gets that one to go. But UCF trying to manufacture points however we can get them. And in the first half, we really saw a surge from Russell Rhodes from 3, really trying to get going on the inside in the second half. But Oklahoma State keeps answering back. Here's a 3 from the corner. That one's knocked down. Russell Rhodes keeping this team afloat in this game. as he is our leading scorer coming into this one. Here is a drive and a foul on Moses Miller. That's going to be number 4. I don't know about that call right there. The smaller guy came up. Oh, it looks like he did get him on the arm. As they go to the free throw line for 2 shots. The first one is going to be good. And the second one on its way will also be good. Need to erase this 7-point deficit. We keep going down by 7. Here's Jones getting to the lane. Back to the outside. This is Russell Rhodes for an open 3. And he can't knock it down. Here's the thing, man. We just need to knock down some shots here towards the end of the game. Get hot. It must be Russell Rhodes because like we saw last episode and the last couple episodes, Justin Jones really needs to get in a zone to get going. But you can see here we are taking a nice couple of shots. Here's another shot from the corner. This is Russell Rhodes. This time he misses an open shot again. This is turning into a trend here in the second half. A couple of open shots missed, and UCF cannot convert. As now we are down by 9, and we are just fighting this deficit, fighting this missed streak of shots. And here we go, down by 9, scoreless in the last 2.5 minutes in this game. Here's another shot from the corner. Russell Rhodes, once again, cannot convert. Here we go, now on defense, and now Oklahoma State starts to hit. And we were once going on, both the teams going on a streak of not hitting any shots, and now all of a sudden Oklahoma State is starting to hit. We're in trouble now because we are extremely streaky today, and that's been just kind of the story of this season. We need to be more consistent. Here's a fast break, though, and we do get a bucket inside. That's Justin Jones on the layup. Good find by Sam Hayes. As here we are down by 10, working it to the outside. Open shot again. It's Sam Hayes from the corner. He can't get it. Offensive board by Kolchak, working it back around. We need a big shot here. But looks like the game just freezes right at that moment. We were down by 10. I'm not sure we were going to come back and win this one, so I decided to go to Gamecast. We end up losing probably by what we probably should have based on how that game was going, to be honest with you. Now, when we get to the NCAA tournament, I do turn up the quarter length. Right now, I have them at 10. We do end up winning versus Texas Tech, getting a nice victory right there. So that was a big-time victory. We end up going and playing Houston on the road here at the end of the season, as we have a few more conference games left. And Houston ends up going up by 10, but we come back a little later, but we try to get within 3, and we tie it at 81, and it goes into overtime. And in overtime, like earlier in the episode, we cannot finish the game. Moses Miller had 28 and 12. There's a big trend in these losses. We are getting out-rebounded by a lot. And you can see versus Kansas, 57-26 was the rebound margin. And now on to the final game of the season, and we take on Cincinnati. This is a big game because this will either put us at 7-9 in conference or 8-8 in conference, which tells a lot based on how good our conference is. And we end up winning this game 63-57. We were out rebounded by 5 rebounds, but we needed that victory because at the start of this episode we were on the bubble. Now it says we're at an at-large bid, so I feel good about going into the conference tournament now that we have that to our name. And looking at how many teams are 8-8, this just shows how good the conference was. There were a few teams 9-7. There were 4 teams that were 8-8. That's how good this conference was. We were just beating up on each other all season long. Unfortunately, we had no Big 12 conference players this year, but we did have 2 all-freshman team members in Moses Miller and Russell Rhodes. So those 2 make it. Moses Miller finished with 14 and 7 on the year. Russell Rhodes finished with 19, 1 and 1. So just a lot of scoring, not much of anything else. Justin Lewis actually finished second team along with Benton and Justin Jones, who finished second team as well. The conference player of the year was Devin Poe. We averaged 23, 2, 11, and 1 assist. And then surprisingly, Moses Miller actually won freshman of the year in the Big 12, which was Very, very surprising to me. We have the top 3 vote getters for Freshman of the Year. So congratulations to Moses Miller. He wins the award that PJ Sutton won last year as well. So that will do it here in this episode. We move on to the conference tournament, and it will all be in one episode here as we play Texas Tech as the number 9 seed in this tournament. And if we win, we'll move on to play the number 1 seed. So we'll see if we can get back to the NCAA tournament. We have the at-large bid labeled to us now, but we have to kind of have a good tournament to have a better seed in that big dance. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I hope the rain don't come in November, 'cause the summer went way too fast. I'm trying real hard to remember all of the good times